Greetings, hi, and hello everyone. My name is Jason Petitfrère. I'm a speaker, I'm a podcaster, and my life's work is centered around allowing the world to meet the true you by helping you think, speak, and eventually live better than yesterday. We do this first by establishing a good reason why, a strong and powerful motivation to keep going when the going gets rough. Second, we need awareness and acknowledgement of what's holding us back. And third, we need scalable steps forward as a reliable bridge between who we are right now and who we need to be tomorrow and the day after that, and the day after that, and the day after that. This, my friends, is how you go from stuck to thinking as, speaking as, and living as the true you. Greetings, hi, and hello, friends. My name is Jason, and I'd like to welcome you to yet another episode of the TRU-U podcast. I must apologize once more for another late upload, but I'm glad that I'm not missing the Friday deadline, essentially. Nonetheless, typically I have these out at 7 o'clock, but this week I neglected to do so that's on me. But in keeping with the whole mood that I'm in, I just wanted to briefly talk today about just resilience, because on more than one occasion, on several, on a multitude, on a plethora, on a myriad of occasions throughout this week and today, my own inner thoughts have tried to convince me of how unnecessary it is for me to record another episode. And despite the analytics and how many people are listening, that is not my motivation. And at this stage of the podcast, thank God for that, because I can't lie to myself or to you. I don't have this crazy following where if I miss the next month and a half, people are going to be knocking down my door like, Jason, we miss you. Where's the next episode? No, I don't have that. And that's a part of what I wanted to talk about today, is just resilience. But resilience born from a place of strong, deep, true resolution. As in, you've resolved within your heart to do a thing, or you've resolved in your mind to be a type of man, to be a kind of woman. And without that resolve, without that resolution in yourself, you are unable to either achieve and or maintain resilience. Because within the definition of the word resilience, you find characteristics such as stubbornness. And depending on what you're being resilient about or resilient in, that stubbornness is healthy. In other situations, stubbornness can be very toxic. So just bear those nuances in mind. But ultimately, irregardless of who listens or how many people listen to this episode thus far, it doesn't change the fact that it is now out there for other people to benefit until the end of the internet, or until the end of any and all of the platforms that these episodes go on to. So it is unfair for me to say that it is pointless to do this just because I'm not seeing certain kinds of results right now. This is an investment mindset. And for investment mindsets, you need resilience. And to maintain resilience, you have to be resolved on a certain goal, resolved about a certain outcome. Resolute. So, as brief as I'd like to keep this, I suppose I'll just wrap this up now, because I do have more housework to get to. But, I'm breaking the homeschool mini-series streak today and just keeping it simple. But I'm not leaving you without a story of the house today, just so you know, in case you're curious or whatever about what I'm actually working on. It's I'm repairing the tub drain. If you've been listening thus far, you know that I've had enough run-ins, more than enough run-ins with installing the tub drain. Now I am having to repair the tub drain because there's a leak when the water goes through the overflow as opposed to through the main tub drain itself. I won't get into the details because not everybody cares about plumbing. I just care about plumbing because it's my house. So I'm repairing that today, and one of the things that I have to repair is one of the fasteners under the tub. Since the tub is on the second floor, I can access under the tub from the first floor. And one of the fasteners right on the tub drain itself that holds a gasket in place and that I put some caulk around to prevent water from coming out. On the inside of that, where the threading is on the actual pipe, there's a bit of a leak coming from when water comes through the overflow. And so what I had to do is unscrew that fastener. And now what I'm about to do, as soon as I get off this episode, is to go put what is called pipe. I cannot remember what it's called, but it's essentially imagine plumber's tape, but liquid version, and it does not like dry out. And it essentially fills in the holes or the grooves of the threading so that you're able to prevent any water from flowing through. And so, let's see. There we go. It's called pipe dope. Literally PIPE and then the word DOPE. So if you ever encounter a situation like this and you need help, it's pipe dope. Maybe on the next episode, if I remember, I'll let you guys know how it went because I got to also test it. Anywho, what lesson is that teaching me? Sometimes what you think is done and complete in your life is not quite done or complete. And that is why it is important to not just do some surface level or ground level inner work on yourself and then stop. And then, you know, in my case, to stick with the analogy or the imagery that I'm using, in my case, there would have been a big problem if I just closed up the ceiling thinking to myself, I did everything perfectly being a first-time plumber and there should be no issue whatsoever, or just being overly positive and optimistic, but to an ignorant degree, to a detrimental degree, and just putting up my ceiling on the first floor so I could no longer access that tub drain easily. What would happen? Water would start dripping and then mold would build up in there, and then we'd have the same or worse issue occur yet again. So, when you do that in your life, what kind of mold is building, and in what kind of areas of your life is that building because you've decided that the work that you've done thus far is all the work that you need to do? Think on that. I encourage you to think on that. And especially in those areas where you know you are a novice, or you know you're weak, or you know it's just not a strong suit for you, keep working on those areas. Keep attending therapy. In fact, for me, I really need to get back into it because my own therapist, that's a whole long story, but he has moved on, as in moved to a different state, and is getting his PhD, I think. So I no longer have a therapist, but I'm going to have to go look for one because I need that right now. Oh, man. Life is tough as an adult, and I should have waited longer to become an adult. But either way, I'm here now, and I am trying to make use of all the tools that I can so that I can not just survive, but I can thrive. And even better, I can take some people with me, i.e. you. So anyway, whilst there will be more lessons from this house, I will end the homeschool mini series with the last episode. And this one, it's mainly just about staying in the game, working on yourself, being resilient, and then making sure that your why is deep and is strong enough, that you are resolute about your why. Because that will carry you through the times and the moments and the instances and the circumstances and the situations where everything, including your own mind, is trying to convince you that turning around and running away is the better option. So just consider my words, and I hope that it's been a blessing to you as well, as a comfort to know that you're not the only one dealing with difficult situations. You're not the only one stuck between a rock and a hard place. We all are in some way, shape, or form. I'm not coming on here complaining about my woes, trying to gain sympathy, or trying to get a bunch of people, quote unquote, on my side or whatever in any sort of conflict-riddled situation. I'm on here exposing some of my strengths and a multitude of my weaknesses so as to be relatable to you, to show you that just like you, I am learning every day. I am struggling almost every day. At this point, well, in this season, it feels like I'm struggling every day, quite frankly. And I also know that I'm not strong enough to do this alone. I also know that I need God in my life for this. I also know that I need a bigger circle. I also know that, as in like relationships, I also know that I need a tight accountability circle, which I also need to revive as well. And I also know that I need professional help sometimes through therapy or counseling. So think on that and be encouraged by the fact that your mistakes aren't the end of your story. And the moment that you decide that it is, that whether it's your fault or not, it is now your responsibility, that's when you take off. It gets hard right at that point because it's a lot of work, but that's when you take off. One of my favorite mottos for the TRU-U brand is, we let our excuses die so that we can fly. So let your excuses die so that your dreams, your goals, your finances, your family, your relationships, your vision board can fly. Let the excuses die so you can fly. And that's how you get to thinking, speaking, and living as the true you. Thanks for listening. Hi friends, Jason here. I want to thank you again for your time investment of listening till the end. It seriously means a lot, and I would further appreciate knowing what you think about the show through either the like button or your own comments and DMs about what impacted you the most in this particular episode or in any other. The point is, I don't want you to be shy about taking the step to communicate all that. Lastly, I invite you to stay connected to this life-giving community by following or subscribing on whichever platform you prefer to watch or listen. You'll also find more nuggets of gold sprinkled here and there by looking up @JasonPF_TRU-U on all socials. Again, that's JASONPF_TRU-U. Let's learn to think, speak, and live as our true selves together.